Well, hi, Achievers House. This is chapter 29 to 30 of Her Heartful Compass by Sir Ferguson and Marguerite Kaye. Right. Okay, so it kicks off where the royal wedding has happened. Margaret's a bridesmaid and she's gone straight into exile in Ireland. Her father's nothing more to do with her. She's been banished from the family. And so she's just trying to kind of like, well, that part of my life has ended. The part of, British high society, and I'm gonna go over to the Emerald Isles and see what happens there. Okay, right, here we go. Here we go. Right. Only a few hours ago, she'd been advised at the royal wedding. Her participation would be extensively reported in the press in the coming days. A photograph plastered in the commemorative album, perhaps of Queen Victoria herself. Will she ever see Mamma again, or Louise? How long she remained in exile at Powell's Court, the grand Irish estate belonging to Marion Wingfield, the 7th Viscount, and Mama's friend, Lady Londonderry's son. That is a long thing. So, expedition, infidel, she's heading over. And while she's over there, of course, she stands on the deck. She's got like this maid, but she sends her maid away. She can stand on the deck and look out to the sea and just lose her bonnet. She loses her bonnet. Red hair flaming in the wind. I am so surprised, Kaye, she didn't stand on the bow and do that, with the red hair. But hey, spit on the nose, that, isn't it? But she stood on the bow of the ship, okay, and was probably admired with her red hair. Okay, so interesting as well because Lady Powell's court, Julie, she is the one who did everything right. She is a woman who married into this state, this society, and she's a very unhappy woman. I think this is like a juxtaposition to show how Margaret's life probably would have turned out if she accepted the proposal. This is how she's described. Okay, right. Well, she meets Lady Powell's court. Alright. Lady Powell's court was wearing a day dress of dove grey with a girdle sleeves. The bodice cut away over a white lace blouse. Say blouson, not blouse, blouson. Probably where blouse comes from. With a high lace collar. She was slim and delicately pretty with big brown eyes and chestnut hair, worn in an elegant braided chignon. Wait a minute. Big brown eyes and chestnut hair. Oh, chestnut hair. Okay. Hazel eyes. Here you go. So, but she's skinnier and wearing a blouson. Okay. And Julie's a little bit cold to her. Julie's kind of like, well, your presence here isn't particularly desired. I'm going to try to get on. You can call me Julie. Keep my home as your own. My husband's not really around. So you're basically here as my company, if you will. My chaperone. That kind of thing. Right. Alright. So she starts to explore the ground. She starts to like kind of liven up a little bit. She starts to embrace the Irish kind of lifestyle. And this bit here, okay, because there's no one around. They're in the middle of nowhere with just Julie and the dogs and the maids. And so, this bit here. So, Margaret goes a little bit wild. Okay. By day, she took to roam in Powell's Court extensive garden and the deer park with only Aoife, the dog, for company. Her hair curled wildly, her face was becoming freckled, her skin tanned. With no need to any longer conform to the rules set by society for a young lady, she had shockingly cast off her crinoline. It was enormously liberating to be free of this artificial clothing, at times when she knew it was safe from observation. Margaret even dispensed of her shoes and stockings to wander barefoot, digging her toes into the very soft lawns, perching on the side of the green pond to dip her toes into the cool water. So she's living life. She's, because in her own London society, her freckles were like, oh no, you're gonna be pale, you're gonna be aloof, you're gonna be that. And here her freckles are coming out, her red hair is on display, she's cast off her crinoline, and she's just gone wild, okay? She's gone a little bit feral in the Emerald Isles, okay? So, cast off her crinoline, okay? And one thing I like about it, because Julie, her marriage is very, very unhappy, okay? Her husband is always away. She basically there's, to have an heir, but you can't really have one of those when your husband's not around. So she is really, really kind of unhappy. And one day, these two women start unloading on each other, okay? About their history, about the priest, about this and that. Right. And and Julie actually sets Margaret straight on how privileged she actually is because someone actually needed to. Right. You're fortunate to be the Duchess, so the Duke of Buccleuch's daughter. That's highly debatable. With a dowry to match your lineage, Julia finished coolly, disposing herself of her usual quiet elegance on the wooden bench, When Wilfred offered for me, I wasn't exactly enthusiastic. My husband is rather straight, his manner reserved, and it doesn't help that he sports a very long beard and makes him look a great deal older than his years. Honey, shut up with your whinging. Start with your first world problems, okay? Right. So, but of course, Margaret's suffers sorry for Julie, okay, and they decide to go to Dublin with her maid whilst her husband's home, okay. But of course, Margaret seems to have this thing, okay, she's got to solve everyone else's problems. She's there to solve everyone's problems. She's like the magical pixie dream girl or something. Julie's husband comes home. She was never person. Margaret was powerless to help. Though it might be a good idea, now she considered it, to make herself scarce while she and her husband tried to remedy their childish state. The very notion of playing gooseberry? No. In fact, the Viscount's arrival would be the perfect excuse for her to explore the country that was currently her home. London was supposed to be beautiful. There was a seaside town of Bray nearby. There was a strip breeder, her maid with her. It would be perfectly in order. It was a very small step, but one, at least she was finally looking forward. So she makes herself scarce, okay, why the Viscount and his wife could, make a baby. Right, finally, make a baby. And so she goes out for the day, and this is when, okay, Margaret kind of like, because in this time, okay, she hasn't really gone out and seen anyone. She's been eating good food, doing long walks, going out without her crinoline. Ooh, okay. And since this likes to focus, okay, on how Margaret looks, this is it, okay? Right. The first surprise was that the ensemble fitted. Reed had not laced as tightly as Molly, and doubtless she would have failed Mamma's measuring tape test. She was curvaceous rather than willowy, but she decided she preferred that. What was more, the effect had been achieved without any effort on her part. Over the last few weeks, her cravings for cake and pudding had disappeared. She enjoyed her food, but was content with an elegant sufficiency. The next surprise was her face. The features were still hers. The deep-set blue eyes, that straight Montagu nose, the mouth which was slightly too generous to be fashionable. The woman she saw reflected back at her was virtually a stranger. She was older than her 20 years. There was a determined tilt to her chin, a wariness in her expression. Her skin was tan and freckled, her brows were the natural dark auburn as were her lashes. Was it the copper of her gown that made her hair look like it was the colour of burnished autumn leaves and not the gingery red she always thought it? Oh, because Margaret's now getting older and she's kind of gone more into her looks. And, I don't know why, but all this conjuring, okay, of her red hair, I just think, honey, if you've got a spear in your hand, okay, are you Boadicea or Boudica, whatever version you're reading, okay? I wasn't surprised, okay, if she just jumped on a chariot and screamed out, kill the Romans. Right, okay, right. But the thing is, even Margaret is not like other girls, of course not. Margaret's not like other girls. She's nice to her maid, okay? So she goes to Dublin, enjoys the time in Dublin, and says, okay, to breeder, that she is not going to treat her like a servant, treat her like an equal, okay? Right. This is when, okay, to go for tea. There you go. I'm Lady Margaret Montagu Scott, a guest of Lord Powerscourt. She from the maitre d' hotel and greeted them. I believe the carriage is stabled here. I'd like to take tea and then have the carriage sent around, perhaps in an hour. Certainly, my lady. Your maid may wait in the foyer. Miss Murphy will take refreshments with me. Margaret almost laughed. It was difficult to tell where breeder or the maitre d', the maitre d' hotel was more scandalised. Margaret threw the man an imperious glance worthy of her mother, which resulted in them being led into a large saloon, decorated in gold and cream, facing the garden, and placed at a round table in the window. So she takes the maid to tea because Margaret's not like the other women. Margaret's good. Margaret doesn't see class or barrier. Margaret, even though as privileged as she is, doesn't, she starts working in a school because she doesn't know how to do that work with the clergy. She starts to write more. She starts to, find her independence. Okay, right. And then, obviously, when Lord Powerscourt comes to work, Margaret's got to think about her future because she's about to turn 21. She's of age, okay, almost. And this is when the son of Lord Powerscourt shows up, okay, right, who is just way more chill, right. The Honourable Louis Strange, Wigfield, I presume, Lord Powerscourt's younger brother. We've been expecting you, okay. They meet in the classroom, by the way. By the way, at this time, even in the classroom, the fact is that Margaret has no one with her. He is, he's a lord, okay, or he's a or the Honourable Lewis. No chaperone. At that time, you actually would have a chaperone. A man and woman would not meet together, even in a schoolroom. There'll be an extra person there as a chaperone. Right, right. Please, I beg you, drop the honourable. My title is neither welcome nor particularly accurate. I consider the theatrical youngest brother a description I much prefer. There's been long a help and a wish in mine to walk a teacher home from school, rather than the other way round. May I have the honour. And he lives in America, and he kind of shows her, like, what's it like to be free and independent, and yeah, even with all the privilege, okay? And she listens to him and starts getting ideas, okay, about her future, about this life in America, this new world where no one knows who she is. She kind of like reinvent herself, right? Right, right. And her father's still not talking to her, and it's for him, okay? Her father had granted her a wish to live independently, awarding her the full settlement which she requested, the equivalent of the dowry which he would no longer be required to offer. She'll be able to live well, to live without scrimping, and she will be certainly not be required to hide away in little cottage subsidised on bacon, fat and dry bread. There are strict terms and conditions attached, of course. Whether she chooses to live, it cannot be in England or Scotland, as he put it in his usual grandiose terms, on the same sovereign soil as any of my residences. Any hint of a public scandal and an ayatollah will be instantly revoked. The Duke had fully accepted that she would never do his bidding, acknowledged her right to choose a different life for herself. They will continue to judge her. And this happens on Margaret's 21st birthday. Okay? So she is not getting her dowry because she's not getting married. Okay? Doesn't want to get married. She is being given money, okay, by her father. At this time, okay, she's also been writing stories as well. And she's not allowed to come back to the UK, well, apart from Ireland. Okay, she can stay in Ireland. The whole idea, okay, was to keep Margaret exiled in Ireland, right? Okay. Right. And just for here, let him. The opinion of her, his opinion of her no longer mattered. She was free. Standing in front of the mirror, Margaret watched a slow smile spread across her face. Today she was 21 years old, and she really had come of age. Her gift to herself was to wipe the slate clean. She could take Lewis's advice and start being herself. Right. But at the same time, once Margaret is making this decision to live by her own means, well, not really her means, okay, because it's her family money, okay, live by her own means, live by her own life, Donald, okay, shows up. Okay, Donald shows up and pops a question. Interesting. Very, very interesting. They've been going back and forth over this. She almost married the priest. She almost married that other guy. Oh, his name I can't recall. And then Donald shows up, okay, and says, well, you have age, you're of means, you have this money, but you don't have a dowry. Will you marry me? Marry me, Margaret. She comes over to propose. Okay? Right. I found you. I know you are my journey's end. Will you marry me, Margaret, and be my companion in life? Interesting to say, Donald says journey's end, and Margaret wants to start her journey. But Margaret says this: she'd never in her life long to say more. Yes, she loved him. Yes, she would marry him. Yes, she would share his life, but the words stuck in her throat. She couldn't breathe. I'm so sorry. As his tender smile faltered, she almost changed her mind, as she had learned many lessons in the last 2 years. She could not always have an entire future decided by one passionate kiss. Carefully, Margaret disengaged her hands. I don't understand, Donald said. How misjudge your feelings? Right. Yeah, no, yes. Not that I don't, though I hadn't realised it till now. Right. I'm sorry, Donald. Was she really doing this? She gazed at him, the man that she'd only just fallen in love with, knowing that she might be throwing away her only one chance of happiness. I'm sorry, she said again. I don't need time to consider. I simply can't marry you. Right. And so she said, I can't marry you because I need to figure myself out. I need to figure out my own stuff in life. I need to figure out what I want. In this time since I said no to my original proposal, I have worked with the poor. I have written stories. I have done this. I have done that. Even though my family have been against me, I've changed. And she can't. She absolutely can't. I actually like that. I like the fact, okay, even though this woman was getting her family money, okay, through her, not dowry, okay, just a bequest from her father. So she's financially stable. She can't have any scandals, okay. She says this: I'm going to America. America? What the devil? Why? Who do you know there? Not a soul. That's the whole point. No one will be able to tell me what to do and when. They won't make their minds up about me before they meet me. I won't be startled by expectations. So she goes to America. She absolutely goes to America. And Julie is aghast by this. The fact is, okay, that she said no to Donald, but she does point out this bit here about, because Julie thinks that Margaret's an idiot, which is absolutely justified, right? Mm-hmm. You've admitted that you love him. He's declared his love for you. Even more importantly, Margaret, you are his true friend, Julia said earnestly. Do you have any notion how unusual that is between a husband and wife? He has everything you could want in a husband. As his wife, you'll be re-established in society, let back into the family fold. You have the chance to create your own family. That, that, that is so much more than a woman can dream of, and yet you, she stared at her shaking her head. What more do you possibly want? I don't know. Margaret replied wretchedly, knowing that she'd already been offered a great deal more than Julie herself had. I don't want more. I want something different. I know how fortunate I am to receive such an offer. Although I proposed, I was sorely tempted, of course, but I knew it would be a mistake. Right. Not ready? Kind of thing. It must be difficult for Julie as well, okay, because this woman comes along in exile, suddenly gets everything that she probably ever wanted, and then just Margaret throws it away. Right. It's interesting. Also, what Margaret had to say yes, okay, but this has to go to America. It says that in the bio, okay. I find Margaret actually like her actions here. I generally do. She's not ready for marriage. She wants more. She's kind of had a little bit of independence, and she's grasping it. She's taking it on. She's enjoying it. She has to figure herself out. It's actually quite refreshing. But the thing is, Julia being there has a aunt who is going to become her travelling companion, who worked, her husband was an ambassador, so she knows the society that Margaret's going into. It becomes a travelling companion because Margaret can't do this alone. She's doing it alone in her head, but physically in the real world she needs a travelling companion. So set off to America. Now, one thing I will point out is this. Now, the British press is obviously been on at Margaret quite a bit, but the Americans, they see Margaret as this bright, fresh new thing, whilst the British press was critical, okay, about her red hair, her looks, her freckles. America loves her. Right, this bit here. This is the New York Herald. Right. Readers who are imagining a faded age spinster peeress and a downhill paid companion should prepare to have their expectations quite confounded. Lady Margaret is 21 years of age, flame-haired and perfectly proportioned according to our sources on board Scotia, of a charming, unaffected manner, of the average English rose and the British aristocracy, not by any stretch. Why has this matrimonial pride been permitted to escape the old country? What she hope to find in a new world? Whether past misdemeanours, Lady Margaret will be welcomed with open arms in a heart society in the metropolis, and will have no doubt fast become the most sought after guest at any and all the current season's events. Right. Right. So she goes into the Gilded Age. Well, actually it came later. Oh, that's time. So she is in America. So she goes from Ireland in exile to this new life in America. As 10 chapters, it can really kind of meandering. I mean, okay, Margaret casts off her crinoline. She starts working in schools over and over again. It just felt like it was like a juxtaposition, okay, between her ideals, okay, and Julia's expectations. So as chapters go, it was okay, but it felt like it was just kind of like a meandering kind of way, just trying to get to the next step. She turns down Donald. She, needs to figure herself out. But I haven't read forward. I find out she actually does get with Donald, because I think she does actually get with Donald. I'm gonna be a little bit miffed. I'm kind of like, you met me in the first chapter. But anyway, this is now Margaret in New York, in America, the New World, and actually, I'm looking forward to seeing this. She'd be the fish out of water. She'd be part of the society of new versus old money. She is old money because she is aristocracy, but she's in the New World. It's kind of like when you meet people who are American, and they talk about, their old money, okay, their old money because they're old money, and then the versus new money. I remember once I was chatting to an American who was bragging, okay, about her home, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's a very, very old home. It's 150 years old. And I also went, honey, in my country we call that a new build, which is true, okay? So I am sign off here. I'm looking forward to seeing next 10 chapters. These 10 were meandering. I'm looking forward to seeing Margaret in New York. I think it's one of the cases we're going to kick into pace, right? So sign off here. This is the 41 years of Mills and Boom. Sign off. Bye now.